They need me, they need you, they need us. They need more support for independent artists, people who still grind the hardest. A hip-hop army, take it back to where it started. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the S.H.I.E.L.D. Showcase. And today we have a special guest, man, somebody I've been knowing and following for a long time, man. He's got a broad spectrum of vocals, and his lyrics are bar none some of the best I've ever heard. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome my man, Case Closed. What's up, man?
What's up, man? What's up? What's going on?
Yeah. Now, you've been doing this since what? You've been spitting bars since, I think, 96 is what I heard on one of your songs.
Hey, actually, before then, I've been rapping since I was like a little, just like a little kid. My like I had a family member. He kind of got me into just into hip hop and stuff. Because at first, to tell the truth, I didn't like it, which is crazy. I did not like rap at first,
right?
Yeah, at first, because I was all into like funk and stuff, and I was listening to Parliament and Prince, and I used to follow behind my cousin, and that's all he listened to. So
you grew up in Detroit, right?
Yeah, Detroit. So everybody's playing Rick James and The Time and the Gap Band and Motown. So I didn't really get into it until one day. Like rap was already kind of thing, and then I just heard a song. The first song that got me interested was Roxanne. That kind of got that kind of threw me like, whoa. But they got the songs that got me like into rap. Like, okay, I wanted to start rapping. Was two songs. My cousin gave me a record, Colors. You remember the Colors soundtrack?
Yeah. Ice-T and them.
Yeah. So it had Raw on the Big Daddy Kane Raw. I was listening to everybody else is listening to the Colors soundtrack for Colors. Yeah. I heard Raw on there and just was like stunned, like what? And it just like that, and then EPMD, It's My Thing. I had Mr. Magic's Rap Attack. I had the cassette tape, and I used to listen to that in EPMD, It's My Thing, and You're a Customer. And after that, it was just over. I was like, man.
Yeah, man. I know the era. In that era, hip hop will forever be engraved in my brain as the turning point in my view of music.
Man.
My older brother was into Sticks and Rush. He was into rock and roll. And my younger brother, he was into Motley Crue and stuff like that. He was into rock and roll. I was in the middle, and I started hearing hip hop standing on the street corner, waiting for the bus and different things. And then, like I told in the previous interview, as soon as I heard Rakim, Microphone Fiend, it was over.
Oh, man. I remember the day I heard Rakim, Eric B. and Rakim, I heard Check Out My Melody. I remember it. It was like I was in my basement and it just came on the radio, and I was just like, bruh, this guy's rap. Like, because I listened to all the other raps and I just thought these guys could do more, which is weird because I didn't rap at that time, but I always said they could do more. And then I heard it, and how he was rapping was just like, whoa. So like I said, all these different rappers, and it just, I don't know. Like I said, when I heard Big Daddy Kane and then I heard Eric B. and Rakim, I started piecing it together, and I started looking at how these guys was rapping, which made me go back and start listening to old school. That's what my thing was. Boom. I was like a monster. My parents would tell you they used to hate it. My mom used to hate it because for Christmas, everybody else asking for toys. I used to ask for cassette tapes.
Yeah.
My mother used to be like, what do you want for Christmas? Public Enemy.
Right.
LL Cool J. She was like, oh, you don't want the video game? No, I want the cassette tape. My mother tell you, I said, my room used to be just cassette tapes everywhere. That and posters and magazines, and write-on magazines, and word-up magazines and write-on magazines.
Man, I can relate to the parental thing because in 1986, my mom started asking me what I wanted for my birthday, and one of the first two gifts she gave me was Beastie Boys' License to Ill and LL Cool J, I'm Bad, or Bigger and Different.
Yeah. I remember that, I'm Bad. My sister had that. She wouldn't let me touch that album for nothing.
Yeah, man. Listen, yeah. So, and then when she brought me to Detroit, and I asked her to get Ice Cube, Lethal Injection. It was that much over for mom buying me because we listened to it on the way home, and she let me keep it. But yeah, she was done buying me hip hop.
See, my mom wasn't playing that. As far as like explicit lyrics, we were listening to Two Live Crew. You know, in Detroit, Two Live Crew was really popular. People just don't know. Like Two Live Crew, all that type of rap was popular in the hood. That and then when Eazy-E came out, so I had Two Live Crew, Throw That D, and Get It Girl, and all that. But that I wasn't rapping then, but we be listening to it like, ooh, laughing like, oh, they cursing on the record and stuff. Then we heard when I got NWA, not straight out NWA and the Posse.
Yeah,
we was just stunned. Like we used to be sitting on the porch playing it, just like, whoa. Yeah. Which is so crazy. It's like me being to lyrics. I grew up listening to gangster rap, which is so crazy.
Right,
like,
yeah.
Man, gangster rap, like everything in my neighborhood, that's all you would hear. It's like you would hear Ice Cube, you would hear, NWA, Spice One, Too Short, Two Live Crew, like, geez, everything. Anything else West Coast that had cussing and Ice-T was really big. Just for the cover, for the Ryan Pace cover.
Yeah.
Empower. Those two album covers, dude, just man.
I couldn't get enough of Power. When Power came out, I couldn't get enough of that.
Oh, that album
was constantly hard. It was constantly in the headphones.
Yeah,
now, what I find a blessing growing up in Windsor, in Canada, being Canadian, we were left behind a lot of times when it comes to hip hop and catching up. Yeah. But being from Windsor and hop, skip, and a jump from Detroit, you can see Detroit from my bedroom window. We were blessed to be able to grow and experience that hip hop that you grew up and experienced too. Now, what was your first experience of Detroit hip hop?
Detroit hip hop? Okay, this is crazy. All right, Detroit hip hop. My first experience there was a group called the Fresh Boys. Yeah. And they had a song called Chip Ahoy. And they used to go around people, perform at people's schools and stuff. And that was the first. And then the next was what was the next thing I started hearing? Detroit, because it came in a weird way. It was like that boomed and everybody watched the new dance show. And you would see the rappers on the new dance show and be like, oh, wow, amazing. So that was my first thing of Detroit. But then I started seeing people like Smiley, K-Stone, Detroit's Most Wanted.
Yeah.
All that. And then like Smiley went to my high school. Like she graduated a few years before I did. We went to the same high school, which is crazy because when I was in high school, everybody used to talk about this girl that rapped. That she graduated, like who? And it was like Smiley. And they're like, who? Like then I started hearing it. And Detroit rap was crazy. It was like what a little fact that a lot of Detroiters don't know is that a guy from Detroit in the early stages of rap was signed to a major, not a major label, but signed to a label. He was it's like his name was Hellraiser. He had a song called Do the James. A lot of people don't know that. His name is Hellraiser. I forgot he rapped under two names, but he was signed to Next Plateau with Salt and Pepper and all of them. Oh. And it was like, the reason I found that out was because my older cousin was dating a guy that was from New York. And when he would come back and bring me stuff, cassettes of, Mr. Magic, Molly Marr, all that. And I'd be listening. So I was up on stuff that people was kind of like, and that's how I knew about that guy from Detroit. I was like, who is this guy? And it's like, he's from Detroit. It's like, what? And so it was like that. But that was my most experience of the guys from as far as Detroit. And and Awesome Dre and stuff. I think he's the first guy's album I actually bought. Him and Chaos and Maestro.
All right, then. See, I think MC Breed might have been my first introduction to Detroit hip hop. Other than like ICP and stuff that I wasn't really listening to, but I heard. Or Esham, that acid rap. Coming out of Detroit. And I thought that was going to be Detroit's thing, was going to be that acid rap, that horrorcore thing. But obviously it's not,
Yeah. With Esham, I heard Esham, like when he came out, I heard people talk about, because everybody kept talking about this red cassette tape. It was like Booming Words from Hell. And I was like, who is this guy? And in ICP, I heard them, there was the Inner City Posse, but I didn't really take them like serious because nobody really was talking about it. Everybody was talking about Awesome Dre and Detroit's Most Wanted and blah, blah. Though that's what they were talking about. So it was like, okay. And like, if you watch the box, you would see all the Detroit rappers, all their music was played on there. And I wasn't really into it until a Detroit rapper that really got my attention, outside of it just the support, because I was just stunned that the guys from Detroit were rapping, was a guy named B-Boy X, and he was so sweet. I remember that he had a few songs that they used to play on 95 FM, because they used to actually play Detroit rap late at night. And they used to play his song, and he had like 3 songs that was like was ridiculous, but he had a song called like 50 Players Deep. That was the name of the song he had with a girl that rap named Lola Damone or something like that. But yeah, that guy back in the day was ridiculous. Like how people rap, not now, but 90s, he had bars, and I was stunned. I couldn't believe somebody from Detroit could rap like that. Was before I went to the hip hop shop. Then my opinions kind of changed even more.
Now, what is the hip hop shop? What's that about?
Okay, the hip hop shop is like, if you seen the movie 8 Mile, that's what they kind of made the show. The movie 8 Mile is basically they put a lot of different things of Detroit together. Like the hip hop shop was a Maurice Malone's clothing store. It was on 7 Mile. Like back in the day, they used to do an open mic. Proof, rest in peace, used to host it. He used to walk around with a microphone, be rapping. And this is when Proof had the dreadlocks and everything. And DJ Head, I think he DJs for DJ Head. I'm trying to think, he was DJ up at D12, but DJ Head was the DJ. Maurice Malone, he had, he's back in the day, he was a clothing designer. So he had an open mic on Saturdays. It'd be from 4 to 7 o'clock. Anybody can get on there and get on the mic. So it was like all the rappers Detroit rappers, legendary, all of the D12, Bizarre, Proof, Conniva, any like local. There's a bunch of people that were like S.H.I.E.L.D. Like S.H.I.E.L.D. is like a legend now, but guys like that were there. And they'd be rapping, and they used to do the battles, like that 8 Mile battle. I was there. Actually, I was in it. But I was in it. I ain't gonna be upset. Yeah, I got through. I was in that battle. I ain't get far, but I was in that battle. Right. Because back then I was like, yeah. I mean, I beat some people, but I didn't get there. Right. But, yeah. Yeah. I mean, Eminem did battle my friend La Peace. That's who he battled. That's the Papa Doc is based off a guy named La Peace. That's what they based that off.
Oh, so this is some of the stuff that I was excited to interview with you about, because you came up in the heyday of Detroit hip hop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I think you're about 10 years younger than me. What are you, pushing 40, 30 something?
I'll take that. I'll take that. We were always about the same age. No, I don't, praise God and praise good genes. Yeah, hey, praise God and praise my mom and praise good genes. But yeah, right, man.
So actually, speaking of your mom, weren't you raised Windsor, Detroit? Isn't your mom from Windsor?
Oh, no. My mother's from the South. She's from Alabama.
Oh, okay.
I got family that's Canadian. It's an extra long story of me getting to Canada, but but the reason I came to Canada in the first place is music related. It was a friend of mine, older partner. He was messing with a girl over there. Of course.
There's a first Detroit guy coming over to Windsor for
to mess with people. Yeah, exactly. Like, oh man, the typical story. But it's different for us though. But me and 2 of my friends, we used to go to the hip hop shop. And like I said, we be rap. I went up there and rapped a couple of times, and then I started getting comfortable up there. So my friend's cousin, he was like, I know an open mic over somewhere else where I guarantee you that y'all can't rock, that you can't rock the crowd. We was like, what? Whatever. So he brought us to Windsor. And that was the first time ever I had been to Windsor. And it was at a place called Boomers, or BC's Border Bar.
Yep, Boomers. Yep.
And it was jam nights on Mondays. So we was performing with a band. Shout out, what's the name of that? New Anxiety. Yeah, that's the name of the band. Shout out to New Anxiety. So me being around a lot of hip hop dudes, I used to know the record, when you know what records got sampled. So these bands, they don't know so-and-so, I can't say Black Moon, I Got You Open, or Black Moon, one is something like that. But I knew what the sample was. I could say Wind Parade. And the band be like, what? You want to rap over Wind Parade? And they'll play Wind Parade, but we would know it as Black Moon's but like, buck 'em down. So, or like what's the name? Like Little Kim, the song dun, 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 that song that he had with the song she had with Little C's, Crush It, yeah, Crush on You. That's right. Yeah. I can't remember the sample now, but I knew what the sample was back then. So I would tell them the original song, and they would play the original song, but the people in the club would know it as the Lil Kim song.
Yeah.
So that's what we used to do. We used to go over there. My friend was like, okay, y'all getting it. But the thing I loved about coming to Windsor was that, and I hate to say, I don't want to disrespect Windsor, but I got just honestly what I was thinking, that it was behind in the hip hop. So right. when we came to Windsor, it was like going in a time machine. So it's like, whoa, they still listening to this. They still doing this, versus in Detroit. Like Detroit, it got to a point where it's like gangster. And Windsor, it was still hip hop. It was still like, man, this feels like 89, 90. So when we used to come over there, we used to love it. It was like, man, this is dope. And the best part about what I liked about Windsor was that people were really open and receptive to the music and stuff. And shout out to my man S.H.I.E.L.D, because he was the first rap person that I met over there. And he used to show me all types of love. And we used to be rapping back and forth up there and stuff. And he was the one that encouraged me. Like when I stopped rapping, he was the one that encouraged me to start to get back into rapping when I had took a break. He was like, no, you don't. You better get back into it. And I was like, yeah, okay. And so,
well, that's the thing. Like, I've been listening to your music for more than 10 years now, because the first time we met, I had just got back from BC, and I decided I was going to put on my own show with just me. And then that's when I already met Rit Dean. So he got, and then I don't even know how I met you, or somebody sent me a link to you, and then you were on. And I regret that show only because, well, one, I didn't perform to my best, and two, I had to follow you. So,
man,
I didn't realize what I signed up for.
Man, back in those days, though, I used to love those days. Like I missed the Windsor, those first days in Windsor, because it was more camaraderie than it is when it got to the midpoint. When when we met and stuff, it was cool, but before then, it was a lot of camaraderie. It wasn't really competition. It was like everybody was just putting out music. It was like, oh, y'all putting out a CD? Okay, let me check it out. Y'all putting out a CD? Oh man, I want to hear that. Now it's like,
yeah.
Well,
to be fair, like you were part of Academy at that. Well, in the late '90s, early 2000s, I believe it was. And what do you guys run, like 6 to 10 deep at some points? Like you guys.
Oh my God. Yeah. Academy. Yeah. Oh man. With Academy, it was Academy originally didn't start out, or originally wasn't supposed to be what it turned into, because how I started Academy, and a lot of people don't know this, so I'm glad now they get to know. How Academy started is I had started coming back to Windsor. I had stopped being in Windsor for a minute because I was connected with a label in Detroit, and things didn't work out. So I had took a break from music, and then I started coming back. I came back to Windsor just to check out on some people, like, yo, what's going on? And I ran into S.H.I.E.L.D, and S.H.I.E.L.D was like, yo, they're doing an open mic, and there's a place called Diesel, and it was ran by South Point Productions. So they used to do an open mic there. That's where I met Glock Records. I met Richie Nix and all of that. So they got into some type of disagreement with South Point. So they moved to a Club Extreme that was right on it's on University. It's on University and off of Bruce and University.
Oh,
yeah, it's called.
Man. I ended up having that club later on. I had that club.
Yeah, exactly. Back in the day, it was called Club Extreme. It was called Club Extreme.
Yeah. Before
so they started
the coconut tree after that.
Yeah, coconut. Yeah, it's the coconut tree. Well, yeah. So after well, they started throwing an open mic there, and I started watching everybody perform. And I watched Richie go up, and he'd get cheers from his crowd. Then when he got off stage, his crowd would get off stage. I watched Glock go up on stage, perform, they crowd go with them, then they'd go sit down. Then I watched S.H.I.E.L.D go on stage, people cheer for him, and they'd go sit down. So it was like, man, if all these guys could put their stuff together, they can make some money. So I went to Richie and I said, yo, we should put together a group or a project to make a mixtape to put everybody out. And he was like, yo, I'm with that. So I went to Glock because there was the other one. They used Glock Records had a big following. So I was like, yo, man, if I can get these fools all in line, we can do something. So I talked to shout out to J Finn and I shout out to Black B Flowing, and I was like, yo, we need to get together and put something. Grimlock Jones. I was like, yo, we need to put something together. They was like, yo, we with that. And then that's how I met Saga the Terrorist. Shout out to Saga. And we said, all right, we're gonna put a CD together. And so we was like, all right, what we gonna call it? And I was like, man, this should be something like the X-Men. Because Richie wanted to call something like Ninjas or something crazy like that. It's like, come on, we got to be something that's marketable. And Glock, they wanted to be some hood street. And I was like, bro, that's not marketable. So I was like, all right, it should be like I said, it should be like the institute or an academy. And I was like, yeah, we're gonna use academy. So that's what it was. The project was supposed to be called the Academy. And then Richie came up with the star. That the star design that's been redone over and over. Richie came up with the original star design. So that was that. So original Academy started out as me, Richie Nix, and Glock Records, Saga the Terrorist. That's the original Academy.
Oh, okay.
So Glock went and did their own thing because they were working with DJ, I think they're working with DJ Axeman. And they had a song that was popping in the club. So he wanted them to concentrate on that. So that's what they did that. And it was like, well, y'all still do your Academy thing. And so me and Richie, that's how I met Trilla. Because I met Trilla at the open mics and we used to go back and forth and he always wanted to battle me. So we wound up battling and we kind of saw that we had the same kind of vibe. So we asked that, come on, you need to come down with Academy. So next thing you know, I got Trilla. Then I got Brandon J. Then we got Crizzo. Then we got Doc C. We start getting everybody started coming in. And so, like I said, Glock was like doing their thing. So that's how Academy just start getting people in. And to be totally honest, we didn't get the love that to this day, we wasn't really getting the love that a lot of other artists was getting because we had to fight with like DJ Nito 914 did not play Academy music. Like everybody used to think, like, Nito helped y'all. No, he did not. Nito did not play our music. For sure. It took Nito. We had to make Nito come to a show. Because Nito was playing Glock, he was playing Saliva or Rawzilla, he was playing Embassy in the Booth, he was playing Bruce B and Raw, he was playing all of their music. Academy music? No. He was like, who are y'all? That's exactly how he treated us. Who are you guys? And so we said, I told him, I was like, bro, you need to come to a show. So he came to the open mic and he seen us perform. And it was just like, all right, I got to start playing y'all music. So he started playing our music, and that's how that came along. But the Academy has just had the rotating thing because there's just always adding people, like how Jay Reno, how he got it. And shout out to Reno, because Reno was a beast about how he got into Academy because he tracked us down. When Richie signed to a label and decided to do his own thing because he had his own sound. You know, if you listen to Richie Nix music, he was going into that thing. Me and Trilla was just by ourselves. We elevated Brandon J. Then it was me, Trilla, and Brandon J. As far as Academy. Then we put out our mix CD. What's Love Got to Do with It? that's what sparked Academy. That's what made Academy go like whoosh. That's when we were in the newspapers. That's when DJs was messing at us. That's when we was doing shows. That's when it was like people were buying. We sold a lot of CD. We were selling music. It was crazy at one point. One point between that and getting to we had, like I said, we was on the front page of the Windsor Star. So right. We were, you know, at one point we actually had labels coming, like, you know, looking at us and stuff. We had we got beat out for that for the grant. We was pitching our grant for the what is the name of it? The music grant that you get, the factor grant. Yeah. Yeah. We got beat out by because, you know, all the big names in Canadian hip hop would apply for that grant. You know, you had Chocolate. Who get the grant the most? What's the group that what's his name is in? This little white dude, Mad Child.
Oh yeah. Swollen Members.
Well, there you go. Swollen Members. That's what we got beat out. We got beat out by them like twice for a music grant. Like straight up. I wish we had kept the paper so we could show people. But we got, like I said, because they'll show you who would get the grant and how close you and what you have to do to get the grant. And like Swollen Members was getting, you know, Swollen Members always getting the grant. Oh, yeah. But because we got so close, that's how we wound up down the line getting a video done for one of our songs off our debut album, Loyalty is Limited, that song Hip Hop. It was a video company out of Toronto. They saw it and they were real impressed and they wanted to do a video for us. Right. So that's how that wound up happening. Like, you know, so, but like I said, but as far as how we met not Richie, but how we met Reno. Yeah. We was performing at a party out in the boondocks. Reno came up to us with his CD. I'm Jay Reno. Threw a CD at us. We was like, whoa. Next thing I know, Trilla called me over to his house. And next thing, there's Reno there. There's Creamy there. The next thing I met Jay S.H.I.E.L.D. and boom, he was part of Academy. Right. He was in the studio. Just like, it's so crazy. It was just like that. The next thing you know, Reno was like, boom, he was working on music. That's when he worked on his, he started working on this mix CD. He worked on this mix CD. He was kind of shifting out of horrorcore music. He was going more into hip hop. He went back, but he was kind of shifting out of it at the time. But it was crazy. It was like that around that time. That's when all Academy was just like, we were just starting to get, Academy has so many people that when we started getting to that point, we got like honorary members like Rit Thing, Stack Serious, Nito, Chalk Tie. Bruh, it's so many, it's crazy.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I just come back from BC. I'd been out there a few times. When I came back in 2001, right after 9/11. So I got back in the end of September when they let the flights come out again. And then I came back to Windsor and I wanted to get into hip hop. And that's when I heard about Academy and what have you. And started paying more attention to Windsor hip hop and all the talent that it was producing.
Yeah.
Being that Academy was an adventure and lasted about 10 years or so.
Yeah.
Right now, you did your own thing, just you two, and now you've gone into your solo thing. Now, how do you compare your process, your creative process, being in a group and being solo? How do you compare the two processes?
Well, the thing, like being in Academy, it was like an assembly line, and it was like an assembly line, and it was like a doggone Royal Rumble. Like when we used to be in the studio for Academy, it was a fight to be on a song. Like you had to have verses that everybody liked because our engineer at the time would take you off songs.
Right.
With like people think that's a joke. No, he would take you off a song. You would come to the studio and your verse would be gone. Like, no, he was like, this is trash. Yeah, he would take you off song. So everybody was like, no, you ain't doing that to me. So everybody was fighting. And then you know how they say steel sharpens steel. That's what it was with that. But the only thing, like versus my solo stuff, I never was really pressed to start doing solo music until I felt that Academy was established. So that's why I never really pressed a solo project until I felt that everybody was in a position to do their own thing. And the difference was I love doing socially conscious type music. And I used to fight with Academy about trying to do that. That's why if you listen to the Academy, you never really hear that on the projects because everybody didn't feel comfortable doing it. Like I had a fight with them for the one song on Loyalty Unlimited is Niggaism. We had a fight to put that song on there, even though that was like our most popular song. That's the one that got us in the newspaper. That's the one that's got us almost banned by the NAACP and bruh. And it was a hip hop song, you know. I mean, not hip hop, but it was a conscious song. And I used to have to fight with these guys all the time. So when it is so funny. Shout out Jay Reno, because when I seen him put out his Politica Killer album, that stunned the mess out of me because I was like, what? Yeah. Every time I see that, I used to be like, wait a minute. I used to fight with y'all guys to some socially conscious records. And it was like, boom. And then to hear how good it was, that really made me mad. I'm like,
yeah, man. I just, matter of fact, I just downloaded I just finished downloading his catalog. And what have you. And Politica Killer was the reason I started listening to him more often. I'd come back to Windsor and I started paying attention to Windsor hip hop and who was doing what. So I recorded in the studio and what have you, but Politica Killer was probably one of the reasons I started listening to Jay Reno.
So, he impressed me with that album.
No doubt. So what do you have in the works now? Like I know you're working on something because you sent me some unreleased things, but that's from that
was from back. Yeah, I sent you some because that was some stuff that I found on my. I still got some stuff floating around. I'm so mad. When you make so much music and it's just out there, you're like, did I make that? Because the one song I sent you, I forgot that I did. I just recently found that. I totally forgot. That was something that I did. Like I produced and stuff.
All right. What song is that?
It's called that song Get Low. Like I put that together and everything. I recorded it. I did everything by myself. And I totally forgot about it. I'm like, dang, I did this? And then the song.
All right, well, check this out. We're gonna listen to that right now. I'm gonna put this on and let that play.
All righty, for sure.
Get low, 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 get low,
Oh, you didn't know I done a few things. Money at the yang in like 1 or 2 lanes. Ambiance cool, use comfortable slang. But this ain't brand new, this is what I do. Bang. Everything cold from the key to the attitude. The streets, the people come and see through the battle mood. Beats on hand, but it's beef for you turkeys. Tryna ride clean, ID so you're dirty. No concern to brag on the turn, the swag on. That turns a fag on, I black burn a drag on. Show reality, the case to see. Old school, make it where I'm at, the place to be. DJs, yes y'all, see the K's fresh y'all. Replays, bless y'all, I be the A's best y'all. It's no issue, cause I'm so official. Case closed, ladies go, throw a blow, a kiss to, let's go.
Go back. Get low, get go back. Get low, get go back. Get low, get low, go back. Get low, get 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 low, go back.
The way that I kick it, I could write about Shaolin. Work all day, at night I'm out and prowling. I fly to the moon, what they like and got them howling. My beat is so mean and it's tight bottom growling.
See, I'm not a monster.
The music make you frown face. People like, yo, let me take you to the crown case. The way you put it down case, you don't play around case. Girls hear the sound and they shake it to the ground case. Hell yeah, I'm a funky rhyme. I know them A+ to be major and won't see minors. Now I put the D on it, E or F you up. Leave you H.I, no JK, it's elemental, I step you up. Wax songs on spin, y'all need to trade trades cause your vocation sucks. I eat rappers, all I need is steak sauce. Give me any beat and I beat the brakes off.
Get low, get go back. Get low, get go back. Get low, get go back. Get low, get low, go back. Get low, get go back. Get low, get go back. Get low,
right this hotter, it's the nada. So feel who you crossing like stigmata. I'm Big Papa, freaking all the honeys, especially the ones that's seeing all the money. Looking so good, they deserve a halo. My person they know, these virgins pray for. My words is fuego, the certain K-flow. Something far and heavy, but my version way more. Not in the club, you should join it. I get heads or tails, and I didn't do a coin flip. Don't pop models, brag about apparel. I snatched them off the porch, another monkey out the barrel. So how you ballin' with a bus pass? Wouldn't make it rain, it would make the jury rush fast. Silver plate a nickel, and the ice crushed glass. Case stay above pass, your swag just trash. Go back. Get low, 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 go bang, go bang, go bang, go bang, go bang, go bang.
All right.
That was nice right there. So you're not going to release that, or is that something for?
Yeah, I was thinking about releasing that before I start working on another project, because right now that's what I'm saying. I've been stockpiling music and stuff because I want to release another project, but I'm taking my time because I want to do it right, and I want it to sound right. Like, I'm really meticulous with my stuff, and I always got to have a theme behind it. My stuff has to have I come from that era of when you make an album, the album has a theme to it. Like, it has a feel to it. It's just like, it's not just a bunch of songs that you just put together and say, oh, okay, I put together an album. No, it's like, I got to have a reoccurring theme through it. And it's like, I gotta feel it. I hate forcing myself to record. That's one thing I always said, that if I ever felt like I'm forcing myself to write or to record, that maybe it's time for me not to do this. Like, I don't believe in the age thing. I believe in when you don't love it anymore, or you feel like you don't have anything else to say, then that's when you should stop. Because there's some people that's out here forcing stuff, and you'll be like, no, man.
Like, if I say with a pen, I got to a certain point where it became more of a challenge to write than it was. Like, sometimes I'll be riding, listening to somebody else's music, or just a beat will come on, and all of a sudden it triggers. I'd be able to carry that home, put it on pad and pen, or take a pen and paper and put that into work in action. Now it doesn't work. Like, personally, I got so many things going on that rhyming is, and plus there's so many people that are so much better than I ever was or could be, that I know when to step aside and say, hey, shine the light over there. Let's shine the light over there. All right, so now, okay, being that I said, because you got the Because I Can and Attitude Switch and Closed Caption, and those are all fantastic. I love Closed Caption personally.
Oh, thank you.
I have a special attachment to Because I Can, of course, I've been blessed to be on one of your tracks, and you've been on one of mine.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, man. So that was a blessing for me. So now that you're doing these things, what do you expect to see in the next year? Are you going to release something in the next year?
Yeah.
Without forcing it, of course.
Yeah.
You think you have enough for another release soon?
Yeah. I plan on releasing some more music soon. Like I said, I like to put all my stuff together. I want to get me some big features also. That's one thing I'm trying to keep under wraps, because I've talked to some people, and at this point, I want to give people something that, like, every project that I put out, I'm proud of. And I love every song that I've done, and I love every feature that I've gotten. And I like everything I like it to sound right. And I know what I want. So if I can't get it the way I want it, I won't do it. So songs, but I got some ideas and the beats that I feel like if I put out, I think I would have a hit record. Like, and I've never really thought, I thought maybe like 3 songs that I've ever done in my entire life that was like a hit record. Like and then now I'm listening to songs that's not even recorded, but I'm pretty sure like one of them, like I'm like 100% sure that it would be a hit, like to a younger crowd too. Like I listened to this beat and I listened to the idea that I have for it. I'm like, this would actually catch on and this would be a hit. I think people would like it, but I would be scared to put it out because I don't think, because you know the age, now you think of the age thing with that. You're like, I don't know if they're gonna look at this old dude, but he got a song that's actually really
man. Like you just finished saying, like it's not about age.
Yeah.
It's about desire and what you're putting out. If you put out quality material that people can relate to and they're young enough, if they're young enough, so be it. You know what I mean? Because you know, people our age, you write for people our age too, because your bars tell stories. And there's a couple songs you've written for the ladies, showing love and respect to them and what have you. One of my favorite videos, and I'm going to play this actually in a couple seconds, is Criminal Mindset. Now, I love the way you took one of my favorite beats, like KRS-One, Criminal Minded, Criminal Mind Flip with it. Matter of fact, we're going to get that right now. We're going to spit a couple bars off that right now. Let that play.
Case to the close. We'll always get paid. I'll take a classic song and flip it clever. Remember, I'm really nice with this pen. Now to begin, to master rhyming. Criminal, mind bent, shine to my time spent. Illness defined by every line in the fine print. An everyday assignment, cause everything's assignment. A gesture or an object giving info what assignment. Rappers don't like me, that reality I'm fine with. Labels trying to sign me while my salary defined with. Still ain't had a rapper challenge me since 9-6. Status make your timeline skip, hence I'm sick. Learn this from my teachers, so you clearly better run. Knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone. 9 steps from your chest where your spine rests. Soul in the box, well at least you pine fresh. Woke up this morning and guess what I learned, y'all? Baby got back like a return call. My fiance is my Beyonce. I'm Beyonce's Pompeii, try bomb Beyonce. You know, 'cause girls look so good, but their brain is not ready. I don't know. I'd rather talk to a woman, 'cause her mind is so steady. So here we go. To all the real women, this is how I really feel. Social media, a killing field, your Achilles heel. But should I stay stilettos as you cruise to the ghetto? Assumed you were special, now reduced to an echo. Self-esteem took a mean blow. See, when everything seemed low, you gotta rise up with the queen's glow. And all you trap boys, that's a desolate, definite. You represent the trap, but never question who's setting it. Just resting it like a resident. Next to the evidence, a lesson in intelligence. I am not just yelling hints. When it's red, I'm a bull of a mind. And if they really wanna learn, I will pull out a rhyme. Each one to teach one, teach them to reach some. We dodge police guns, these streets may peace come. We scream for freedom, justice to be done. Justice to be done, don't stop till we won. It's a criminal mind flip. It's a criminal mind flip. Yeah. Criminal mind flip.
I wanted to make sure because I love them bars on that one there.
Oh, I loved it. I had fun doing that. And the video was ridiculous. I love doing that video, man.
Yeah. And that was at S.H.I.E.L.D in Windsor, right?
Yep. And I got the clearance from John Elliott. I know he's a what is he now? I know he's like a
he was a city council. He was. He's not anymore. But he was a city councilor. Yeah. He was a city councilor.
He was there. He seen me do the video. Like, he was like kind of stunned. I asked him, you know what I'm saying? I was like, and he was like, why don't more people come down here and record, do stuff like that? I was like, I don't know. I was like, this video, it was perfect. The area was perfect. It was, man. And I wanted
to, the thing, got to show off some of the local artwork from local artists and what have you from the Windsor area.
Yeah, that's one thing that as far as I want to do, and as far as Academy, that was a requirement in the Academy. As I always felt like we wanted to showcase other people, not just keep the spotlight on us. That was one thing. Like I excuse me, when we started Academy, that was one thing. We actually sat down in a meeting and said that it's not going to be always about us. We wanted to showcase, if you look at all our projects, we probably had most speeches out of everybody, anybody in the city, of as far as variety of people, because we always wanted to like give people from our shows to our music to working with producers and stuff. We made it a staple. Like I said, like, man, there's no way I'm in the city and I'm not gonna show these people respect. So like we did a show, and it's one of my best, and it wasn't even a big show, but it was one of my best experiences there for Windsor, is meeting Maestro Fresh West. Like,
right.
you know how geeked I was when I met that man, and everybody else is like, I was geeked, man. I was like jumping around, like, you don't know that I had this man's CD. Like I had Let Your Backbone Slide. I used to listen to that.
Drop the Needle, yeah.
Bro, or The Mic's My Piece. Man.
Symphony in Effect. That was, I actually mentioned this before in another interview. I did I used to write for the Student Voice. It was a high school newspaper. And my first 2 record reviews were Queen Latifah.
Okay.
Reign of the Queen, I think it was called, or something like that.
All Hail the Queen.
All Hail the Queen, and Maestro Fresh West. Let Your Backbone Slide, Drop the Needle, all that shit was on there. And I took that to Chicago. When I went to school, I went and played football in Chicago. And within the first month or so, I was on the radio station introducing Canadian hip hop to Chicago. Right. And that's when I fell in love. That's when I never looked back. Music became a part of my life. And now, you know, from DJing, doing radio shows, being a DJ, I was never a turntablist, you know, but I did plenty of radio shows, and now being on stage, recording, meeting you guys, and now just wanting to just show the world what hip hop is really about. It's not always what they turn on the radio, what they hear on the radio, what they're getting pumped into their brains. Yeah. This, you, me, us, the people we're talking about, that's hip hop. Right?
Yeah. You know what? That's what my thing was. I was like, I like. There's another thing. I used to DJ too. Like actually cut and scratch. I actually scratched on Jay Reno's album on one of his albums on this. Like I did a little scratching on there, and Nito was hating on me, but but I did a little scratching and stuff. But one thing that, as far as a solo artist and as a hip hop artist, I made it my mission. When I moved to Windsor, I was like, I'm going to make sure that I meet some Canadian legends. So I got to meet Mad Child. I got to meet Maestro Fresh West. I hung out with Chuck Claire. I got to meet Cardinal Official. I got to meet Prevail and Swollen. Who else? I got to get on the song with Mocha Only. Mocha Only is on our album and stuff, you know. Yeah, I got to meet Jilly Black. I got to meet Mitchie Me. I got to meet. I went to Toronto. I met Ghetto Concept. You know, actually, I battled on stage on the radio.
Ghetto Concept. I haven't thought about them in a long time.
Bro, I got to meet all those people, and I made it a mission to do that because I said, and then, you know, as far as locally, I met, you know, Essex Court, you know, and Quiz and stuff. I met, like you said, at Orca and stuff. We actually hung, you know, was chopping it up, you know. And then of course, Lyrical Bliss. I got damn near a bunch of songs with Bliss, and I made it my mission to do that and to make sure that I have respect as living in Windsor, that I would meet the artists that were the back, because I know a lot of people say, "Oh, Academy is old school Windsor hip hop." But I wanted to meet the guys that were there in the, you know, that was in the dirt, in the trenches of the Windsor hip hop. That was, you know, from the Chalk Ties and the Axemans and the No Pulses and stuff. You know, man, like that. I wanted to meet those guys and stuff. Yeah. You know, and that was one thing that I put it out there to get and make sure that I either met them or got them on records and stuff, because I was like, yo, I'm gonna show some love and respect to these guys, because I'm in their, like I always says, I'm in their city. I'm in a different hip hop thing outside of Detroit, because in Detroit I met all types of people and stuff. So it's like I wanted to make sure, and that's, you know how you got your bucket list. You're like, well, if I ever stop doing this music, I can say I did this, and this. And I've kind of got almost all of my bucket list. One of the main things I wanted to do was make sure I did a battle too, and I got to do that. So, you know, that was another thing I got off the bucket list. So, you know,
didn't you battle Tory Lanez? Or is that a rumor that I've heard?
Okay, I'll tell you a story with this one. And because this got misconstrued. We were supposed to battle, we got added to a battle. No, me, Trilla, and S.H.I.E.L.D got took to a battle in London. And Tory Lanez was in the battle, and Casper from London. I don't know if you know Casper. We call Casper Marcus. Casper Marcus. You know? So we got in the battle. I didn't really want to battle that day. I was just out of it. But because Chad with Doc C paid to get us in the battle, it was like, all right, we gonna battle. Now, Trilla battled Tory Lanez. He battled Tory Lanez, and Tory Lanez beat him. He battled Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez beat him. S.H.I.E.L.D he won his first round, and he made it to the second round. He wound up battling Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez wound up beating him. I got in the battle. I made it all the way to the semifinals. I wasn't even trying, because if I was prepared, I'm for sure I would have cleared everybody out. And I wasn't trying. But I started getting mad because people start talking junk, because this is when I used to have braids, and they were talking about me and stuff. And then Cat, I know he probably don't remember because it was so long ago, but I wound up in the semifinals. I wound up battling Casper. Now I beat him. Facts. Now the show was held by Rough Riders. That Tory Lanez came with Rough Riders, and it was by some entertainment, and now the entertainment was Casper's people.
Yeah,
so they're the ones that threw the battle. So of course it was some BS. So, and you were rapping back. This is when you used to rap over beats.
Yeah,
it wasn't acapella. Just rapping over beats. So I beat that. They was like, oh, it was a tie. Y'all got to go again. I'm like, bruh, what? So we go again. And then he say some stuff, said I look like a packy. Sorry, no disrespect. No.
Is what he said.
That's what he said. That's what he said. No, I don't want to get canceled or no something. That's what he said to me. You know what I'm saying? Because my hair was pulled back in this big ponytail. Anyway, he said I look like a packy, and I was mad. I'm like, what? Wait a minute, bro. I'm black. What the heck? I'm from Detroit. What the heck? But anyway, I'm giving it to him. I'm like, all right, you want to say this packy stuff? So I'm barring him. And then my dumb butt, I happen to look up, because we're battling in the bar. On the TV, the Raptors are playing. So my first instinct is, because, you've been to me when I've been freestyling. I freestyle, and I said something about the Raptors. You suck like the Raptors and blah, 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 the rap. And the crowd just started booing me.
Oh, you can't do that in Canada.
Bruh, I know. I was like, then I realized what I did. And I was like, God, what was I thinking? Right. So that's how he wound up winning the battle. Because they was like, oh, no, you lost crowd. So he wound up having a battle, Tory Lanez. And what did they wind up doing? Having a tie.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So I don't know how they did the money, but I think Tory got the trophy, and they split the money, but it was a tie. And I was talking to a dude, I don't know if he's still a rapper now, but his name was like Big Cushion. And he was talking, I guess he's known in London. It's a big white dude, big bald white dude. I don't know if he still rap, but he was like, yo, the final's supposed to be me and you, not neither one of them. And I was like, yeah, but we don't run this. This is the situation. So, and that's what it was and stuff. So but I did tell Tory Lanez. He was in there, I think, with his mama. He was sitting in the corner. He had I still remember what he had on him, a wrinkled up shirt, and had on this raggedy Charlotte Hornets hat. I said, because when he beat S.H.I.E.L.D, that's what made me mad. I was like, oh man, I want to get at this dude. So I told him, he was sitting in the corner. I was like, you next. And I don't never talk junk, but it just made me, I was like feeling myself like, you next. And he just gave me a look, and I'm like, you next. And all of a sudden, that's why they gave me because it was because the semifinals, as I'm thinking about now, I'm really getting all the back. The semifinals actually I was supposed to be in the finals. It was supposed to have been Tory Lanez versus Casper, and then me versus this guy. But the guy didn't want to battle me. He sat down at the bar because they kept calling his name, and he wouldn't get up. So they said he was eliminated. So they was like, oh, well, now you. So they gave me Casper. So that's how me and Casper wound up battling. And what I wasn't supposed to battle, I was supposed to battle the winner if they battle.
Oh, okay.
They were supposed to battle in the semifinals. So you know how they, it is what it is. That's why I treated it. I treated it as karma because I was like, that's what I get for not taking it serious. Yes, I should have been, but at the end of the day, it's a good story to tell the kids. Like, yeah, Tory Lanez, back in the day.
That's all right, man. And you're still doing this. You're still loving what you do. So
for sure.
I'm always excited to hear what you come up with next. But let's get away from, we got a couple more minutes left. We got a couple more minutes and that. But let's get away from hip hop and let's talk about them Detroit Pistons.
Oh, they playing right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, all the more reason because my Lions they lost again, so I don't want to talk about them.
Oh, well, I had them. I mean, I'm a Lions fan, and but I had them losing today. I knew they was gonna lose to the Dolphins. I was like, but I knew they was gonna lose. I'm so hurt.
We got to see Tua Tagovailoa versus the corner that we got instead of the quarterback that we should have had maybe. I don't like to look back on the woulda, coulda, shouldas. So what do you think is going to happen with the Pistons this year? Like that starting five right now that they've got, is nice.
Well,
nice is to me, it seems like a Bad Boys mixed with the back to work Pistons, like a nice blend of the two.
Man, I love these Detroit Pistons. Like I said, they playing right now. The game is on right now. They're playing the Golden State Warriors and they beating them too.
Right.
But I love this team. As soon as they drafted Jaden Ivey, I went and got his jersey. I was one of the few people I got his jersey right when it came online. I was one of the first people to buy it. I got my son a Cade Cunningham jersey. I plan to go to some games. I love how the team is set up. They still need another veteran. They need some more veterans, like a vet. They need a veteran like I would say a power forward. But as far as the young man, like this team, give them like 2 years.
Yeah.
They gonna be that team in the East.
So
like
they like that Rasheed Wallace trade that
yes.
Somebody in with that little bit of attitude. He had more than a little bit of attitude, but you know what I mean, that to the mix.
Yeah, because this team is super athletic. They're exciting
and super young. That's the issue.
Yeah, they just super young. They super young. They starting lineup. It's like guys like 22, 23. That's a really young team. I mean, they got the youngest guy in the league, coming off the bench at 18 years. He won't be 19 to later next month. So that's a really young team. And, so I mean, they got a losing record right now, but I expected that. I enjoy watching their games. I'm trying to go to some games this season. And I really got
at least last year and this year they're making it interesting. You don't really expect them to win, but one more year. I don't know if coaching has to do anything with it, but he did a great job in Toronto. You know what I mean? But but he had veterans and he had people that understood and that. So like you said, they need a veteran influence with that coaching staff and this young energy. Like that the last draft. He got Ivy and what's his name in the first round, like back to back.
Jalen Durn. Yeah, Durn. Yeah.
And then Cade, he reminds me of a Grant Hill type player. Like he's smooth with it. He's very smooth, and he's fluid. Like, wait a minute, he just let that go, and you didn't really, you know what I mean? He's smooth.
Yeah, I like. The thing I really like about these Detroit players is that they want to be here in Detroit, and that's what I really appreciate. Like they embrace the city. And you got a lot of the thing that is really good is that you got a lot of character players. Like, so you're not worrying about them acting a fool. Yeah. They're good role models. And I think like we've been getting like we get away from that, and like as far as like sports and music and everything else. And sorry, you want more character guys. I think even with the Lions, that's what you would want. You want character guys, and then you want that talent. And you just, and I think you with management, like even with the Lions, like I know a flip flop between the Lions and Pistons. I think with your but I think it's about your management needs to you look at your team, you evaluate what do we need, what's going to progress us in the future, and what play like. And with the Lions, they should have been like I always thought they should have been looking at a quarterback. Well, look at no quarterback. Then you work on your defense. You work your defense is going to keep you in the games if you get if you know how to that.
That's what we thought was going to happen, but the defense is still coming. Like it's still taking time. We got some road graders on offensive line now.
Yeah.
So I think now we're primed to get a quarterback. Unfortunately, there's nobody really coming out of college to speak of yet.
No.
So it's like we got to ride homeboy out for a little while longer.
Yeah,
Don't expect a contract. And I wouldn't suggest going to get a vet. Like vets are nice to have, but we've already got vets. Like we need a young gun. We need that young gunslinger.
Yeah,
but I don't know who's in the college right now in the college ranks in the next 2 years worth even paying attention to in the first.
Exactly. Because if you don't get a veteran quarterback unless you know you right there, and you're like, okay, he's gonna push us over because
Tampa Bay Tom Brady, Denver Peyton Manning. You know what I mean? But then you got the teams like Indianapolis Colts. They should have been ready to go. And then they got a Matt Ryan, and they fell completely the fuck apart. Like they like I think they should all be on notice over there in Indianapolis. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the great thing about football in the NFL is that you never know season to season. Like sometimes you never know that football. The parity in it is so you got to set your team up unless you got a program in place. Like, what Belichick had back in the day with the Patriots, you got to have you got factory of players coming out. You got boom, 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 boom. The Lions, everybody, they was trying to copy that blueprint, but they just don't. I don't feel they just got the eye yet for talent as far as like we always get good offense, but just
we'll see what Brad Holmes does because that's his name, right? Brad Holmes.
Yeah,
we'll see what he does, man. He got a little bit of time left. And they just got started. They're only 2 years in, so let's see it. So anyways, all right, my brother. I want to thank you very much for spending some time with us.
Oh, for sure.
I can't wait to hear your next project and whatever you do next.
And
as soon as we put on a tour, like whenever you does something, man, I hope you're on board because
for sure. I'm always
you for stuff.
Most definitely. And like I said, I have everybody looking at I already have the project name. It's called Intentional. Because it's intentional. It's intentional. And like I said, I hope to have a single floating by the end of the year. I like I said, I want to have a single out by the end of the year. And we're gonna go from there and stuff. I'm gonna start hitting people with music and stuff. I just been listening to everybody else, trying to support everybody else doing their thing from New Breed to Jay Reno. Gert, everybody that's doing their thing and stuff. And now I got some stuff. And then, like I said, as far as even writing, I think I even got better. And that should be scary for some of y'all. Because I feel like I'm better. So
how has that improved?
It's probably subject wise. And I think I'm gonna make it was kind of people probably would get an idea of where I was planning on going with stuff if you listen to the project that I did with Nickel. It was called Bar Society, and on there, man, like I love how I wrote I was still in the phases of still learning to record because I recorded at home, so I was still getting used to recording myself at home, and voice was kind of messed up because I was sick. When everybody went through COVID. I was one of the people that went through it. So it messed up my voice for a while. So if you listen to that project, that was me still recovering from getting, for being sick.
Is that the song When Night Falls? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. You can hear a little bit, but the writing, I was, man, at one point, like if you I listen to that project now, as far as writing wise, and I was like, okay. And I felt the direction I was starting to go with certain songs. I just couldn't go there with Nickel because he now I think he's getting it as far as that more adult. If you listen to some of the music that he's releasing now, it's more of that. And I think he's starting, because at first he wasn't getting it, but now he gets it. Same thing, like I say, with Reno and stuff. It's like, as we've gotten older, you start getting it like, yo, I got more to say. And it's not the stereotypical everybody get together type. No, like, you actually got some deep stuff, and it's not something that everybody else does. It's something that, because you feeling it, and it's something that you got to say, but it's not preaching. So you want to make a point and stuff. And I felt like, yeah, I've read some of the stuff that I've wrote, and I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah. And I'm not scared to talk about this. So I'm not scared to talk about that, because I always said I wouldn't get too deep
right.
in rap.
But this is the evolution of a man, and hip hop and creativity and everything. Like, you can't keep, same as Eminem. All right. When he came out, it was like, my name is. You can listen to the bars, and I'd still go back and listen to that song and be like, wait a minute, motherfucker was out cold. And I tried to dislike Eminem for a long time. I went out of my way to dislike Eminem, and then you start listening more and more and more. And it's like, all right, man, subject matter aside, the motherfucker got bars. Yeah. All right. But now he's evolved. He's 40 plus, almost 50 years old. He might be 50. I'm not exactly.
50. Yeah, he's 50. He just turned 50.
Yeah. But listen to his subject matter. You know what I mean? Like, it's evolved, it's grown. It's, he'll still rip you a new one quickly, and that's not taken away from subject matter one way or the other. I'm just saying, like, he's evolved from what was in 1995 or whatever.
Yeah. You know what? And that was one thing that was a big inspiration to me, is like some of the older rappers that you hear that's still good. Like, I can hear it, like, you can hear a Fat Joe, you can hear Eminem, you can hear Fabulous, you can hear Jada Kiss. Who else? Just like, there's a song now, Busta Rhymes. Busta Rhymes got Big Daddy Kane on the song, and they killing it. They got a new song, it's that stuff like that. And a lot of these rappers are almost 50 or 50 and still like good. KRS-One, Redman got a new project coming out. Method Man is better than 90% of these rappers out nowadays. We're in the same age group. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, or of course, all the Wu-Tang is older than us, and they still make music. The RZA just dropped a new project that's sweet. Like, so, it's a lot of people, like Griselda. People look at Griselda as like, oh, those new rappers. No, all them guys are old dudes. Griselda, them guys are 40 plus years old. Royce, that's one of my favorite rappers of all time. That's almost a 40-year-old man. That's these guys. Oh, Ras Kass is old. That's But I'm looking at
Ras back in the 90s.
Man, or Crooked Eye, Joel, like all those guys is like, they inspiration. Shoot, I wish. The only thing I say what's wrong with hip hop, and I don't like now. I know we didn't talk about it, but I hate that it doesn't have diversity in it anymore. Rappers aren't diverse anymore, and and I think it's bringing down the quality of hip hop. I know everybody's, here's hip hop, you just got to search for it, but no, at the mainstream level, there's no diversity like it used to be. Like in the 90s, you had EPMD here, you had Tribe Called Quest here, NWA here.
This is my problem right now, and this is why S.H.I.E.L.D is so important to me. Yeah, there's hip hop everywhere, but we shouldn't have to search for it. You know what I mean? Exactly. They don't have to search for good country music on the radio. They don't have to search they might have to search for good rock and roll and pop. I don't even know what good rock and roll and pop music is. You know what I mean? Rock and roll and the commercialization of rock and roll is suffered the same as hip hop is. You know what I mean? Just giving you cookie cutter garbage and saying, okay, this is what works, so keep working at it. As opposed to being innovative, or even sometimes being retrospective and saying, okay, that was good back then. Let's try to emulate that. Like I said, you doing criminal mind flip. All right. Like that was a few years ago. That was a few years ago now, but still, like taking modern bars and putting on an old school beat, that's fabulous, you know.
Yeah,
but
I don't think. And the thing is, like a lot of the, because one thing I know it's always been a fight, old against young, and it shouldn't be, because I feel like a lot of the younger guys, and I know it's more everybody been pressed about the older guys. Oh, y'all don't show respect to the young rappers. Well, a lot of younger rappers don't have no respect for that. Don't look at the older rappers. I went back when I started rapping. I went back to the old school and I looked it up. I didn't laugh at guys. I didn't say, "Oh, they broke," or like I didn't do a shout out. The academics. I didn't say, these guys. I didn't say these guys are broke. They bum, they whack. No, I took back because I thought about what they were going through at that time, and you take pieces of what they did back in the day, and then you apply it to yourself. Like I said, if some of these rappers would go back and listen to a Rakim, you would notice the little nuances in how he writes, and you could apply that. You listen to a Kool G rap, you listen to a Lord Finesse, you listen to a Big Daddy Kane, you listen to a Guru, you listen to a KRS, or you even listen to a Chuck D. If you listen to Chuck D on a Public Enemy's first album, and then you listen to the next album after that, you would notice how much of Chuck D's style changed from album to album. And it's like little nuances like that. You watch, or Redman, you look at Redman's first album, then you look at Redman's third album. You'll see how much he changed because he adjusted to performing and stuff. And that was like, it's little minor things that you can just look at and you can apply it to yourself and you'll make better music. Like a lot of rappers want to triple time, da 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 da, and they think it's original. And it's like, we know they had
Das Effects was doing that.
Das Effects. We know Poor Righteous Teachers. Yeah. Like they know Twister. We know him as Mr. Tongue Twister.
Yeah.
Mr. Tongue Twister. Back in the day. Like they don't know. They look at Jay-Z. We know Jay-Z as we knew Jay-Z back when he was Hawaiian Sophie. I can play some Jay-Z that had him looking like, I remember with him with Original Flavor. I had that record. Right. It's just like stuff like that. It's just like you gotta show respect to your and by the way, Detroit beat the Golden State Warriors.
Oh, they did?
All right. Oh yeah, just let you know. Just let everybody out there. Yeah, my Pistons beat the Warriors. But like I was saying, it's like, and I think, and I know we don't even have to get into the whole Kanye thing, but to apply to something that he says about the music, and there's something about our society as far as the kind of music that we want. Like, because you and I both know about, we like socially conscious music. I love X-Clan. I love X-Clan. You know what I'm saying?
My entire high school was X-Clan.
X-Clan. Yeah, I love X-Clan. I love Poor Righteous. I used to listen to man. But like, first his whole complaint, and he had a point, but at the same time, it's not to put it on the fans, which we haven't. We put it on the rappers. We blame the rappers all the time. We're like, well, y'all making this kind of music. No, we as fans, we have to start demanding better of our artists. And that's the problem. We're not demanding better of our artists. We're not saying we need something for this. Not just to twerk on, and that's why I hate for the female rappers. Like, I feel bad for them because a lot of them are good. Like, a lot of female rappers, the newer ones, are better than their male counterparts. If you listen to them, like Lotto, she's better than a lot of guys. Yeah. Nicki Minaj always been better. A lot of these girls.
In doing my research, I've been trying to find female rappers. Because you know what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the subject matter for women tends to be limited.
Very limited. And it's, to me, I don't know why a lot of these women aren't insulted. That's what I've been trying to get. Like, I get it. You trying to make money and stuff, but at a point, you gotta be at a point to where you like, you know what? Is this all y'all gonna like? I know I'm making money, but all money is not good. And it should be to a point to where you like, you know what? Why are y'all? That's all y'all like me for is for this. This is what I got to do. I got a mind. I'm talented. Right. it should be more about me dancing in front of a camera, shaking my butt. I shouldn't have to go out and get surgery and to look like a Barbie doll for y'all to like me. It should be my talent. And that's the thing I don't get with a lot of these artists, because a lot of them, like a Meg Thee Stallion, is a college student.
Yeah.
That should throw people off. Like, you listen to a Cardi B and you'd be like, oh my God, this girl's ratchet. But at the same time, she's married with 2 kids.
Yeah. And this is the thing about commercial hip hop and what the industry has done to, and my man Dre, Fortune, said they're using hip hop as a weapon. Now, I'll use an example as 2 Chainz. Now, the first song I heard from 2 Chainz was I'm Different. And I saw the video and I'm like, look at this clown. You know what I mean? That was my first opinion. Yeah. Right? Because that was the first, don't get a second chance to make a first impression. Yeah. Right. So that was my first impression, but I didn't give up on him. I got to hear some more of him. I started to listen to some more of his stuff and actually start to listen to him speak. And that's why I think these interviews are so important to young artists that are coming up. And that, to be able to get your personality across as opposed to persona across.
Exactly.
Right? Now, when I got to not know 2 Chainz, but when I got to see his personality instead of his persona, and then I actually hear him speak and see the businessman behind the persona, good Lord. You know what I mean? He gets all kinds of respect from me. Like, I wish I could meet the man and shake his hand and be like, yes, sir. Like, but I'm sorry, that first impression. So now, given what I just said, imagine how hard it is for a man to look past a woman's persona when she's not making any effort to give you her personality.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and the thing with 2 Chainz, and I'm glad that was, because now, that's funny, because that was the name I was just about to say. A lot of people don't know that he went to college. He graduated from college.
He's not no dumb guy. Like that it's a student class, right? Like,
exactly. This is a smart guy. This is not a dumb guy. And because everybody, they'll stereotype a rapper like that. Like, you'll say everybody, first thing they pulling out their behind is J. Cole or or Kendrick Lamar. I'm like, but those shouldn't just be the only 2 names. There should be a variety of people that you are pulling out. Not saying that everybody has to be under the same umbrella, but it's just like, like I said, like I said, what Kanye was saying, it was like, okay, we make this music talking about killing and shooting each other or selling drugs. But if the audience is, that's what they cry for, then we as a people got to get better. I remember a story Cardi B said, and this is one of my favorite songs by her. And it's a song called Be Careful. That was her first single off that album, off her Invasion of Privacy album. She put that song out, it didn't do nothing. It was her rapping. She was rapping. And she'll talk about her man cheating on her, and you better be careful cheating on me because I might come back at you. She wasn't talking about tricking or nothing like that. She was rapping. That song didn't do nothing. She said, all right. Did she put out whatever the song? I forgot what song came next after that, but that song blew up. I think it was Money. Or no, it wasn't Bodak. It had to be Money. Or that other song that I like. It was Money. And then I Like It Like That. And she said, you know what? This is the type of music that people want to hear from me. So I got to make that type of music. And that's, and that's kind of, that kind of sucks. That's same like Lil Baby. Lil Baby, he said, I want to make more socially type of songs, but the crowd don't want to hear that. And that's hard. That's as a, what I'm saying? And that sucks because it brings down, and now we the only genre of music that they do that to. They don't do that to R&B. They don't do that to rock. They don't do that to country.
They're starting to do it to R&B. They're really starting to do it.
Well, they done phased out R&B. R&B is urban soul now.
It's like it's a hip hop with the sound effects and with auto tunes.
Yeah, that's what they don't even, they barely respect R&B. R&B is either urban soul or pop. And they phase black music out, and that's a big problem. I wish we would address that as a people with more, start loving our culture a lot better than we do versus loving the dollar. Because the money always will be there.
There's a certain point where, okay, excuses and reasons are not the same thing.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay, I made it famous from this song and I started making my money, this, that, and the other thing. I would like to make more conscious music, but the fans. No. So do you create music for the fans or do you create music because you're an artist?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's a certain point where you've got a platform. Now use the platform. Quit using
Exactly.
it as an excuse to say, okay, this is the only way the fans want. All right, then maybe those aren't the fans you want. You got your money. Now, did you sign a deal? Did you sign a deal that the record label says, okay, now we want you to do this, and this is, we've stolen your persona, we stole your name, we own all this stuff. Now you have to live under ours for 10 albums or for,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because we saw what LL did to get out of his contract.
Yeah.
But he had albums, and his last 2 albums were bullshit just to get out of it.
Yeah, just
Prince
to get out of
was
the contract.
You know what I mean? If people like LL Cool J and Prince have a hard time getting out of the contract, what do you think these young cats nowadays that can't wait to get to Warner and sign their did? Like, did you read that? Did you have a grown up read that?
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of these, and the unfortunate thing is that the negative stuff gets promoted, man. Like, now you have all the stuff on the line with the TikToks, and it's so like, it's like I say, example, like with the new girl, Glorilla. Now, I've seen her in interviews and stuff, and I love her energy. That is a nice girl, and she passionate about her rapping. But it's pretty sad that your music, it had, you know, and they got people now telling her that she should get BBLs and all this. Little skinny little girl. They telling her that she ain't no little girl, she's not a little girl, but you know, skinny girl and stuff. But they telling her to do all this stuff to be like everybody else. And even her song is like, it's a negative type song, but that's the kind of music that you have to put out. Like City Girls, they gotta be ratchet. They gotta talk about all this crazy stuff just to get out there to get that. So when you feel like you're saying a music, even if your music sounds good, it's like you can't have a message nowadays because they don't want you to have a message because people say, when I'm in the club, I don't want to hear that. But if you make the song good enough, it is not gonna matter if you hear the message. Because if you hear the song well enough, you're gonna be walking around singing it to yourself, and then it's gonna pop in your head because that music does influence people. We know that.
And that's the thing. You can make club music and you can make conscious music. It doesn't all necessarily have to be on the A side of the album. It doesn't even have to be on the. You can have singles released. You can have mixtapes. You can release separate projects. You know what I mean? And like we were talking about, like you had said about the diversity of hip hop. Now go back to, let's use a base year of 1995. We'll just call that up 95. Okay. Now before 95, when it comes to diversity, we can go back and forth until somebody gets tired of saying something. We can have names. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you just said, if somebody wants to say it now, there's J. Cole, there's Kendrick Lamar, there's, you know, there you gotta go looking for it.
Yeah,
right?
you gotta go
looking for it because you're not going to find it on the radio. Every time, and even when I hit these streaming sites, you know, if I want to hit a playlist on the streaming site, it's the same shit I just heard on the radio.
Exactly. And it's the sad thing. And it was something that I saw an interview with T-Pain, and he said, you know, some people are sending the music. He's like, you know, he had a podcast. He's like, send me music. I'll listen to it. I'll play it. This is T-Pain. And the guy sent the music, and his music sounded like everything else on the radio. And T-Pain said it, and the guy got mad. And he was like, look, bro, I'm giving you an opportunity, but I don't want Lil Baby Part 2.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to listen to Lil Young Thug It Something Part 2, Part 3. I'm looking for something different. And it's like, if that's what y'all giving to me, he's like, if I'm saying that, imagine what a record label is saying that. What a record label saying. It's like y'all all sound the same. So, and now that's like I said, that should be scary to artists because that means that you're replaceable.
Yeah.
You know, you should be scared. Like, you should be thinking like, yo, if I don't produce, I'm replaceable. So they got another guy come in to put on some fake jewelry or whatever and bounce around and rap over some auto-tune. Like, remember, they just had, I mean, they dropped them, but they was about to put out an AI. They signed Capitol Records, signed the AI as a rapper. Was an algorithm of everything that's being played on the radio. Yeah. So all that stuff, all that trap music and stuff, that's what they turned, or trap and drill music, they turned it in and put in the AI, and the AI just comes up with a song. And the song, 2 songs got real popular. They got like millions of views and stuff. Yeah. And like that should, if you an artist doing that, that should make you scared. Like, bro, you not
completely expendable. And like you said, no diversity and no individuality. Because one thing I can say about you personally is if a Case Closed song comes on, I know that's case closed. Bang.
Yeah.
I know your cadence, like you can change up your cadence, but your rhyme patterns, your voice and whatnot, that's case closed.
Yeah.
You hear Buster, you hear people pre-95, and I'm just again using 95 as a base. I don't know
exactly. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
About the record labels, what happened in the 90s in the prison system, but that aside, they had identities. Now you can have a couple people on the same album, and I can't tell you who's who based on all the auto tunes, and they're saying the exact same thing the same way, the same cadence, the same. You know what I mean? There's no diversity, like you said, and there's no individuality.
None. I heard a song. Nicki Minaj got the Freaky Girl song, and she got one that got featuring all these girls on it. The only person that stood out on that song, and they not saying they ain't had no bars or nothing, because someone was nice. The only girl that stood out that I could tell different from all the rest of the girls was Bia. Bia, right? Bia. They got the Bia, because her voice is so smooth and she raps slow. But the rest of the girls rap all the same. And it was like Nicki had to say their name so you know it was a different person rapping.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that was like a big example of that. Like when you listen to these songs, all these rappers, they rap, and it's not even taking nothing away from them. But all of them had the same vibe, same look, dreadlocks, bunch of jewelry on, gold in their mouth.
Yeah.
Talking the same stuff. And it's like, bro, we get it. Like what Doja Cat say, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. And after a while, it's just like, okay, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to sound like the mad old head, but I hate sounding like that.
There is talent out there, brother. And the thing is, I have been looking for it. And that's why I'm doing this S.H.I.E.L.D. thing. And because it's happening, I am now launching S.H.I.E.L.D. Radio, S.H.I.E.L.D. Hip Hop Radio. It'll be online and an app for the phones. It'll be a streaming service. And that is going to be completely independent underground hip hop all day, every day.
Okay.
It's my goal and ambition to destroy radio, man. And I've always said to people, if you don't pay for the product, you are the product. And that includes radio. All right. Yeah. The reason they get to pump those commercials, they get to pump the same music and the same shit. It's like breathing carbon monoxide, man. It's putting you to sleep and making you, is killing you mentally.
Oh, yeah. And the other big reason why they can do that is because a lot of these corporations own these record like some of the same corporations own the record labels. It's like 3 major corporations that own the record labels that own the radio stations. They all connected.
Yeah, so, and have shares in the prison system.
Exactly. They got shares and they set everything up that goes around. And now a lot of these rappers don't know. We saw it when me and Trilla signed a contract. a lot of these record labels got life insurance policies in their contracts. Like people don't know that. They do. We had to negotiate that crap out of our because I was like, I'm not signing no life insurance policy, but it was in our contract. And that's scary to think about because these record labels are going to try to get money off of you any which way they can. Like our contract had a stipulation in it, like if you or you got on drugs or something, you lose the rights to your stuff or something like, man.
Oh, they look for any reason to take. They're taking your rights, and they own your music. They own your name. Yeah. Based on the contract, based on the literature of the contract. Yeah. You know, Redman had to release his albums as Reggie Noble just because Def Jam wouldn't give him a shit. You know what I mean? Or release it. Just kept him on the shelf.
Yeah,
Prince had to do it. Had to change his name to the symbol or whatever he did just to get home. You understand? So these kids, I don't think they really understand the depths to which these contracts.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, these companies will get you. The streaming sites, they will get you because these streaming sites ain't pay. They pay you a little. So the amount of money that they make off of ads versus what you make off of streams is crazy. Oh, yeah. That's why I see people talking about I got X amount of streams. Well, what do you think that streaming site made off of that? You get the little pit. You get the quarter of a penny of what they're making off of the ad with the company paying up for ads stream that you could be doing that we should be fighting to have our own sites to play our own music, so you can capitalize off of that.
Yeah.
This,
And then on top of that, if you use something like DistroKid to upload your music and you don't pay that fee to have your own record label listed, now your shit's listed under DistroKid. Now, does that give them ownership over your shit? You know what I mean? Like, are you paying attention?
Yep. They don't. Yeah, a lot of people don't read that. They read that little thing down there in the DistroKid. They're like, oh, I can put out as much music I want. Yeah, but if you don't pay, if you're not paying that extra, they own all your stuff. You can put your stuff out all day, but they own it. So, and they can put your music wherever they want to put your music.
Yeah,
man. Then get money off the advertising or whatever you. It's a sneaky game, but you know, you got to keep your eye on it and stuff. I mean, and then a lot of these new rappers make so much money quickly because they a lot of performance. That performance money is crazy, but it's not sustainable. It's quick and gone.
And that's the thing. Like, and if a record label is willing to pay you for what you've done, it's like you got this many streams, you got this many followers, and you TikToking all day long. If they're willing to pay you a chunk of money for what you've done, it's not like they're saying, okay, we're going to pay you for what you've done. Now let's start. No, they're paying you on your potential. So if they're willing to invest in your potential, why shouldn't you see in yourself your potential and be able to grind it out? You know what I mean? One of the best lines, I say it's one of the best lines, but one of the lines I heard from you first, you were rapping with Wit and them, and you said, I'm going to grind like rusty brakes or something like that. That was way back. Like that was.
I'm on the grind like rusty brakes. Yeah.
I was like, see, that's how people need to be on their independent career. Just on the grind and not expecting the easy way. Let me get a bunch of followers. Let me get a bunch of bots, you know, to boost up my stream so it looks good.
Yeah.
But you're not doing anything. You're not really selling anything.
I wish, like, when I see what is available nowadays, I wish Academy would have was just coming out now, because it'd been crazy. As fun as with the stuff that we had available, because at the time, you know, Academy we had our own studio, we had in-house production, we had all that. If we had the access to be able to drop your music online and not have to pay for pressing and all that, man, it would have been nuts. But because a lot of these guys and you know, they got Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and WhatsApp and whatever else. With Spotify and excuse me, and Tidal and all of this. That stuff wasn't available when we was making music. That you didn't even YouTube. You wasn't even really doing that. You had MySpace, and MySpace wasn't paying you.
No, you know no. And again, and that goes to the subject of the rappers that started the game. You know what I mean? And what money they did and don't have. Like LL Cool J said, no investment company, no lawyers, no accountants, no business people were coming in and saying, hey, we see your potential. Hip hop in 1980 and change was all brand new. It was still brand new until the 90s when it really started turning, when it turned the corner and became a worldwide phenomenon. Yeah. And that, like, when the doors come off and people were.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. All right, my phone's about to die. People were throwing money, got plugged in and everything, but we can go home. But yeah, when the wheels came, when the doors busted open and hip hop took over the world and everything like that, man, that's when people said, okay, now we're throwing money at this. So now that's why everybody looks good, but you sold your soul. You owe the money. You can't get out the contract. Money's really not yours unless you're independent and do it on your own. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's very few people that can do it, but somebody like a Tech Nine or an Immortal Technique, there's been plenty of people that did it independently and created a huge thing. Right? Yeah. So you don't really need distribution, but you don't need the label.
Yeah, you just need that. You just need an invest. Like I said, Tech Nine, them guys still had, like, at the end of the day, they had an investor at the end, you know, an investor in the back.
I know, yeah.
You know, it's all good. Like I said, Tech, I get them all up because they do think, because a lot of the guys say, yo, we ground up, and there's always an investor in the back through a couple grand, and you know, in a pocket. But I respect, and a lot of them guys have had record deals at one point or another. You know, like ICP, they was signed. They had record. They signed the island a Disney Island. You know, Tech Nine was signed to perspective for a hot second, but then, he still, do his independent thing. Like nowadays, it's so easy. You don't need a record label nowadays. You really don't. But you really, but the part of the record label that you do need is for that money, for that the distribution and the promotion. That's it. But we don't have a black owned. No, I was just for us. We don't have our own distribution that will make something fair, so that will pay fair. So, like I said, a lot of that money isn't sustainable. Like you can make I know some artists, I know some guys who make a living off of doing music, who straight up that's what they tour. You would never even heard of them, but they're touring because they go overseas and stuff. They invested a little money into themselves, and they go tour, and they do it, and they make money enough sustainable for a lifestyle, not for like they balling and pulling up in the nice cars and have all the jewelry, but they make sustainable that they have a life, that they got a house and they take care of
the full times that we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And I know guys that's doing it to this day. I'll be shocked. It's just like you just gotta get a fan base, connect with a fan base, and consistently give them new music and be on it. And it's a full-time commitment. It's not, you can't, if you try to make it a career, you cannot half-ass it. You have to be committed, commit, know your business, know your content.
Hip hop, like you gotta have it in that order. And hip hop might be right after God, and depending on your belief system, it might be first. But it's top 3 if you want to succeed at it.
Yeah, you gotta breathe. Yeah, you gotta bleed it. You gotta get up in the morning, like boom. You gotta have an itinerary ready. Like I gotta do this.
Well, in this age of social media, you know what I mean? Now you have all these venues and you have all this access and stuff, and no one person can maintain a job, write all the lyrics that they need to do, function, record, and do all this to maintain the fan base and interaction with the fan base. But it's necessary. So now your management team needs to include a social media manager, as opposed to maybe you don't need a tour manager or somebody to manage your career so much as you need somebody to manage your fan base and manage your interaction with the fan base while you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, writing lyrics and
maintain your business. Always be on your taxes. Some taxes been kicking a lot of not just entertainers, but on down the line, because a lot of these guys that a lot of these people see, they be on these pictures posting with these big stacks of money. If you don't think the IRS is not looking at that, you're crazy. You're crazy.
And they don't realize it's like, I'm Dave Jones, so I got to file my taxes as Dave Jones. Exactly. But Smooth Daddy is a business. Smooth Daddy is an entity. So now that's a whole different tax. That's a whole different tax form. That's a whole different bank account. So now when I go to Factor and say, now I want a grant from Factor or I want a grant from such and such, now you look at the business part of Dave Jones. You can see the Smooth Daddy part as opposed to the Dave Jones part, right? That's what S.H.I.E.L.D is incorporated. Like S.H.I.E.L.D is an incorporated business in that, because now it's a serious, this is my life now. Yeah, whereas that's what rapping. If you want to be a rapper, you want to be an MC, whether you want to be famous and sign a deal, or whether you want to have a fan base and with appeal, you have to fucking work on it daily. And you got to be committed to it, and you just gotta the last thing I would say is just gotta just believe. At the end of the day, just have a belief in belief and the faith in yourself as far as what you do, because at the end of the day, we all know. And it was something that's what maintained me doing music for the longest, because when I was in Windsor, when we were doing Academy and then aside from Academy, like we used to get hated on a lot for no reason. Like hated for no reason. And it used to tick me off at first. It's just like, man, we trying. Like I told you before, we was trying to be cool with everybody, trying to kumbaya. Never got into no beefs, never was trying to fight nobody, we never down talked anybody or none of that. And we would still get hated. And it was just like, and that made me go back to something my mom used to tell. My mom told me the first day I remember when I went to first grade. First thing my mama said to me when we pulled up to the school and my mom was about to get out the car, she said, remember,
not everybody's gonna like you, no matter what you do. So just as long as you like yourself. and I was like, I had to go back to that in the academy. And I remember being at the studio. I was with Reno, and I was with somebody else, and it was something that we said. I said it, and I said it in the song. I said it in my song. You don't expect everybody to like you or be like you. You know what I'm saying? And now that was one thing that I always apply to music, because I used to hate. I used to get mad when these people used to hate on us and talk stuff, and they'd be online. Like, I don't know if you ever been on that NBC. Were you around when they did that embassy board? People used to be commenting on it. It was an embassy message board,
right?
And all the Windsor rappers and stuff used to be talking to each other back and forth. They'd be dissing, or when they're advertising music, blah 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 blah. And it was just like, that was the one thing you'd be mad, like, why is these people always talking this and that and crazy? And I'm trying to be nice. And it's like, not everybody's gonna be like you. You're gonna have to accept the fact and do you, and not worry about it. Just like, and that was one of the things as an artist. He ain't doing too much. I know he caught a lot of flack and stuff. There's two artists like that. Jay Breaks is somebody that I respect because of that, because he does him and don't care what nobody say.
That's a fact. That's a fucking fact. Breaks is different. He's different cat, man.
And he don't care. And he does him. He know he's sweet as far as a rapper goes. He don't care. He not trying to appeal to nobody.
No.
He does him. And that was like something I appreciate. I was like, bro, see, that's what I'm talking about. And I used to tell that, and that was and I've been trying to tell Trilla that for the longest, like, because he has that same mentality, but he doesn't put it out there like that, but he has the exact same mentality and stuff. And I'm like, bro, you could be doing the same thing. And I think as I've gotten older, and I was like, if I find a younger artist, and that's the last thing I would say about that, is like, I'm also looking for artists to work with. If I found an artist that I felt that was like dope, I would invest, because some of the like ideas I have, I really think I could make somebody blow. But yeah, you just gotta have that mentality. And that's why I tell all the younger artists, like, at the end of the day, do you be true to your music, be true to yourself first. You got to be a fan of yourself before anything. Because if you don't like your music, you don't like yourself, your music gonna suck.
One of my favorite songs from you, man, just to tie this into a bow. One of my favorite songs, I put it in my playlist last week. You Ain't Gotta Love Me, but you will, though.
Yeah, you ain't gotta love me. Yeah, that's what I say. You ain't gotta love me, but you will. Yeah, that was based off a similar conversation. It was like that. It was like, when I recorded that song, I thought I was in the studio, and everybody was thrown off because of the tone of it. It was like, because they were so used to all the songs that they were sounding a certain way, and here coming this beat on. And I still remember I was in the studio, Mad Studio. That's where I recorded that album at. And Chad was looking at me just like, you rapping over this? It's like, yeah. It's like, all right, I gotta hear this.
Yeah.
And I did it. And he was just like, all right. He's like, all right. That's all. You could just like, all right. And the other song I did that too is like when I recorded my last album, Closed Caption, I recorded at Jay Reno studio. I did a song, Me and You. I love that song. He gave me the same look. You rapping over it? You doing this? Really? It's like, yeah. Okay.
Right.
I record the song. It's like, okay. And I was like, people love that song. They just looked at me like, you really gonna do this? I'm like, yeah. It's like, because if I don't have the faith in myself, and that's what I say to everybody, at the end of the day, like I was telling you when you did the songs that you doing, and I was telling you, like, yo, man, them songs are sweet. Like the club song you did is all like, see, man, that's you got to look at it and be like, yo, people gonna give you that weird look, but if you love that song, I don't care what nobody said. If you love that song, then you just gotta be like, yep, I did that because that was, and that's how I kept that mentality, and I keep that mentality to this, like I said, to this day. And I'm a even with the like I said with the newer music come out, if one nobody don't like it, I'll be like, you know?
You know what? And the thing is, if you didn't like it, you wouldn't release it. So
Exactly. If I didn't like it, believe me, I
listen,
got
there's plenty of songs that I released and I liked, but that was way before the internet. Like, well, 93, 95, shit that nobody will ever hear, never made it. And I'm thankful for that.
yeah, I got songs on the out there that I don't like, and people know it, and it's still Academy to force me to put out songs. Like we had a song, Fat Bottom Girl. I hated that damn song, but they put it out there. They got played in the clubs. I hated that song. We had a song called No Place Like Home. I just made the song just to be joking around with it was me and Trilla. Everybody loved this song. We got so much hate in Toronto on that song because we were talking about Windsor, Detroit, and they was hating on us when we was in Toronto. And they got us a lot of love everywhere else. And I was just like, I hate this song. I hate this song. No, I didn't even like performing. Like, I don't want to perform. Everybody like, perform this song. I'm like, no, I don't want to do it. Like, no, that, like I said, that Fat Bottom Girl, like, come on, hey, do a Fat Bottom Girl song. Like, no,
Right.
no. Like, no, bro, I'm good. I don't want to do that. I'm straight. So, you know, it is what it is. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's like whatever the music we gotta do, we gotta do. So
well, hopefully you get back on stage. Last time I saw you on stage was just for a brief second. Your former manager in Windsor there, Clarissa there, she put on
that show.
You guys had a live band that day, you and Trilla.
Bro, that show was so fun. I mean, I wish somebody else like I'll say this to Windsor, y'all got a wide open. It's so wide open to whoever wants to promote music or do it right. Don't just if I was younger or if I was over there, I would grab that. It's so much money to be made. And it's not even about the money, but it's so much culture to be able to do that. And man, it's so wide open.
Yeah, you know what I've been trying to do with the S.H.I.E.L.D. Like even when I was doing the showcases, giving people the opportunity to perform, all I wanted to do was mesh Windsor hip hop. Nito was trying to do the same thing.
Yeah,
and it's like polar opposites. Sometimes you try to get people together, and they just want to do their own thing. And I encourage everybody to do their own thing. But if we keep passing the baton, if we keep encouraging, keep pushing, and supporting, and pulling, and helping one another, you know, the S.H.I.E.L.D. communities. Not only me saying, okay, listen to this guy, listen to this guy, listen to Case, listen to them. Yeah. It's about them saying, listen to them, and them saying, listen to him. You know, like Windsor, it shouldn't be just me saying, listen to Riot, listen to Case, listen to Reno. Everybody has their own fan base. Everybody has their own. How about, you know, the Riot say, listen to Case? How about
Riot is dope. Those are my peoples, man. I love working with them because they are hip hop. I mean, if I go down the line of the dope artists that I met, the younger, as I go, because we all know the older artists, but if I was like some of the artists that I met over there, as far as younger, like for Riot was one, like I said, I love their energy and that they hip hop. Like Marshall, he was dope. Like it's just like a lot of guys that were carrying that baton too. It's just the one thing, like I said, it's just a lot of like you just said, a lot of the older artists should have been right there to pass that baton, but a lot of them just stopped doing it. And then you got some that's just grumpy, grouchy. But then you got some that's like I said, my man Chuck Ty, that's somebody that will pass, that has passed the baton. You know what I'm saying? Like yourself. I've been trying to get Nito he gotta pass that baton too, you know. It's like at a point because you got to keep that. Once you lay that seed down, you got to water that seed and let the next, you know, like the next crop grow. So because we had our fun and had our time. I mean, we still can make music, but at the time it's somebody else to start, you know, benefiting from whatever the foundations we made. Right. And I think that's the problem with as far as like with Windsor hip hop, because they don't have it should have been shows and is I see some artists doing some things, but it's not what it was, and it's not the camaraderie that it should be, and the connections between them and Detroit. Because I see some Detroit artists go over there, but it's not like it should be. It should be a lot better and a lot bigger and stuff.
And even those shows are different. Like even those shows, when the Detroit artists come over, like Castro put on some shows, like Who Got Next, and some, when I used to put on shows, and you see other shows, and then you see the Windsor-based shows, and there's different crowds and different energy, and one's better or one's worse or anything like that, but they never seem to mesh together at the same time.
Yeah, because I've seen some Windsor shows, the younger cats, and the shows have just not been. It was like I've been to some of them, and I was just like, the energy is not the same. Because the last show that I did, the last show that I was at, not trying to say it's better than everybody else's, but the energy was different and the vibe was different. The vibe was just like it was all around love, and the people were there to be entertained, like straight up entertained. And then all I heard all that night was, where are the shows at? Why aren't there more shows? Who doing stuff? That's what I was hearing. Everybody kept walking to me and saying that. Why? You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
truth be told, COVID had everybody fucking for 2 years. COVID had everything shut down for 2 years, and it's hard to get everything started up again. But I don't know if I was in Windsor if I'd be the one starting it up again. But I'm trying to do my thing from this end of the world.
Yeah. I mean, I had some people ask me some. I even had some people that throw stuff talk to me about it. I'm like, I'm not here. I'm not living here anymore. But
right.
I'll put you on to somebody that might be interested in doing some things, but I can't do it. I wouldn't mind hosting something here and there and whatnot. And like I said, I'm to that phase of wanting to do some business wise, as far as like, bring up the next crop. But as far as it's now, it's time you got to look at the younger artists to, y'all, when it's on us as the older artists to show the younger artists that you got a rich history, and you should love that. You should, man, that should be something you should stand on. You should be like, yo, I got it. No, okay, not everybody blew up or everybody did this and that, but you got a lot of artists in Windsor that did some stuff that can raise an eyebrow. You had artists in Windsor who been on Billboard charts. You had a few artists that was on the Billboard charts. You had Reno and Alo and Richie and the Mike Lords on the Billboard charts. You had guys that played on the radio, that's in Detroit radio, like Academy, Rawcam, J Star, Richie, Mike. The Mike Lords are on the soundtrack, on the Scary Movie soundtrack. This is Essex Court. They was on Jenny Jones back in the day. They was on the TV, featured on the show. Like these are your people. You got Shane Mack. He was on King. He been on King of the Dot. These is your people. That's coming from that little small town. You had Academy. We did what is that? Canadian Idol. It's a DVD. It's out west and stuff. They have videotape. We've been on magazine covers. You got artists from Windsor that got songs with big name artists. You know what I'm saying? You had us and Rick Theme set. We were the first artists to be the chart on the earshot charts on CJAM. And that goes through. That's just not CJAM in Windsor. That's just college radio throughout Canada. Throughout that area. And we were number one on the charts on there with 2 albums. And that's stuff that, a lot of artists should just sit back and just not give homage to, but
recognize at least.
Recognize it and build off of it. Be like, yo, now CJAM, y'all should be, I'll be down there knocking the door down trying to get somebody up on CJAM to start playing y'all music instead of crying about it just because you want to play it on Spotify or whatever. I'll be trying to get it on the radio station. I'll be going downtown talking to these DJs. If you got that type of music, get a DJ. Do what we did. That's what we did. You know what I'm saying? We went to these areas.
There's 2 ways that we used to get music noticed and played, and anybody used to, college radio station and club DJs.
Exactly. 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 That's when you know your stuff is popping. You go down to the deep, like I got where I work, there's younger guys that go to Windsor. Like they tell me all the stories. And I tell them, I'm like, you know, some of them know that I do music. And I was like, yeah, y'all go to oh, you went to the Boom Boom Room or you went to this place? Like they used to play my songs up in there. And they were like, what? I was like, yeah, 9 times out of 10, a few years ago, if you were bopping around on step, bopping down, talk to some girl, 9 times in there's playing my song. I forgot what club it's at. My man Doc C would know, but they used to play at Reactor. Well, I know Reactor gone, but when they had Reactor, walk up in there and what's the other last place that they shut down? Voodoo, yeah. Walk up in there, they playing our song. That's why I put it on when I re-released Because I Can. And I put the song on there, which is That's What She Said. They used to play that in the club. I didn't even know. I just happened to walk into the club one time and I recognized the beat. I heard that doo doo doo. And the DJ was playing it in the mix. And the dance floor was packed. And I started bouncing around. I'm looking at Chad or Doc C. And I'm like, yo, and he was like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, how did they get our song? He's like, I gave him a copy. I'm like, duh.
Yeah.
Like, duh. This same thing at Reactor. I remember we at Reactor. We standing outside. You know, when they used to have you outside, you could smoke outside. So it's up top. They're up there smoking. Next thing I hear that fat bottom girl, you are the one. Like, what? They playing our song. Like, bruh. So it makes me, so when I say, and I say that, that's to say that a lot of artists, you should be thinking about that. You should be like, yo, I want my song played in the club because that's how people are going to start asking about it. So when you're starting to play it on Spotify and YouTube and stuff, they recognize your stuff from the street that you still got a street hustle.
Yeah.
You still got to get out there.
Like back in the 80s and 90s, that's how NWA and anybody else did it. They made it in their neighborhood first. They made it with the club DJs. You know, Jay would take it to the club and play it. You know, it was out not in the valley or whatever, but you know, he'd go and play, and that's how you still should do it. And I was talking to Chase March. He's DJ over there in London.
Okay.
At the London College radio station. And when you start bringing up to these young people, it's like, okay, have you submitted your music to the college radio station? And haven't even thought about it. And it's like, wait, you can Google anything else, then Google college radio stations, find out who got the hip hop show, interact with them, say what's up. I'm so and so. Will you listen to me? Some will, some won't.
Yeah,
some won't play it. But what I keep telling people is most of them kids that go to them schools are probably from other towns and cities. And if they take what they've heard of your music and what they've learned about you back, then you've just expanded your network.
Exactly.
By reaching out, because you can't guarantee just because you put it on Spotify, somebody's going to hear it. That, oh, all right, the people that are going to hear it are the people that are already following you. You put it on college radio stations, and they're sitting around the dorm and studying and listening to the college radio station, whatever. Bam, what's that? Who's that? Now you clicked on somebody that wasn't on your algorithm.
Yeah,
right.
That's
the problem with
Wu-Tang did it.
I think that's the problem with the computer and doing all the streaming is you fall into an algorithm where you fall into a category that now you're going to get repeated with these type of people, and only these people, like-minded people, are going to find you. And but
that's true.
You get on college radio station, like-minded people will find you, but not in your algorithm.
That's very true. Because because you know they start putting the hip hop in different categories of hip hop now, and that messes you up big time because you might not make lo-fi hip hop or this type of hip hop or this weird type of hip hop, and they will put you in a certain category, so people will never hear your song instead of just being a hip hop. You don't got lo-fi in this type country.
No. You might have rockabilly and you might have all these different, but now it might be country rock or country pop, but they don't. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I listen to country music, and that I think some of the storylines and some of the way of getting across their point, they do well with turn of phrase. Like I'm impressed with it. And it's not all humdrum and woe is me. And it used to always be, but now being in Northern Ontario, I get
Yeah.
limited options when it comes to the radio. So thank God for Spotify and and Tidal. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm not knocking the streaming sites 100%, but I actually, like you said earlier, you got to hunt for what you want, and we
Yeah.
should have to hunt. The country, they don't have to hunt on country. You know what I mean? They don't have to hunt for their music. If you want to listen to a pop music, if you like Taylor Swift, you'll find her everywhere. You know what I mean? But we can't find quality hip hop on the radio anymore.
Yeah, with Taylor Swift, the other thing with her is like I think she just had the highest selling record, and she sold physical copies. She went like triple platinum. And
Yeah.
most of her sales were physical copies.
Yeah, which
like
doesn't.
who's doing that?
Yeah, who does that?
Doing that?
Yeah.
No, 3 million and 2 million of those are physical copies sold. Like,
yeah.
Man,
who's the last person to do that in hip hop? Master P selling out of his trunk?
Ain't no telling. I can't shoot, and that's like I said, that's 3 million copies and stuff. That's crazy. Like, we just not artists. And rap was we were the ones supposed to be doing the stuff on the street. We were supposed to be selling out the trunk or whatever. Yeah. I mean, I know it's being innovative.
Sites.
Yeah, I know it's been, but that was a way to hit they like the more every way that you think it's gonna be an easier way for us to get the stuff is somebody else got control over it and they're making more money off of it. It's just you just gotta learn how to circumvent it and modernize everything you do to make it benefit yourself.
Right.
So
yeah, like Kanye said, you are the CEO of your own business.
Yeah.
Your brand is a business, right? So
your brand is a business. Yeah, as soon as your brand, you right. Your brand, your image, everything is a business, and now it's on you. Yep, as long as it's on you. If you can modernize it, monopolize it, and utilize it to your advantage, then. But that means you got to own. You got to know about ownership. You got to know about copyrights,
and marketing and promotion.
Yeah,
and marketing and planning, and you know what I mean? Because you're not just going to be a speed bump. And I keep saying this in almost every interview. No matter how talented you are, you're not going to be a speed bump for somebody to follow and be like, oh my God, we found all this talent. Justin Bieber happened one time. You know what I mean? And how talented he is debatable. How marketable he is, there's talent and there's marketability. All right. Yeah. Now he can sing. He is talented. I'm not taking that away. But he is far more marketable than he is talented. That's just my opinion. But anyways.
Yeah, so you're marketable and you're relatable. Sure. So if you relatable, like you said, with interviews and whatnot and videos, that's what that gets a lot of artists sales and stuff because people start relating to them. And if you watch the interview, you watch a lot of interviews, that's what made me like. I wasn't a big T.I. fan until I started watching T.I. and Tiny. And then I started watching some of his interviews, and that made me like him. Yeah. Because at first I wasn't no fan of T.I. I was like, he can rap, he good, but And then I watched his interviews, and that made me like, I really like you. A lot of artists. That's how I give you a chance. That's the same thing with Cardi B. Everybody was hating on Cardi B and stuff, and I just like I said, I watched her in interviews, and her interviews made me like her. I was like, you know what? I really like her personality. Same thing with the new girl, with the Glorilla. I was like, the song, I was like, man. And, I didn't like the concept of the song. I was like, here we go again, women dogging men, blah, blah, blah. But then I watched her interview, and I started seeing her in interviews. And I'm like, man, she got a really cool personality. That's what made me like her. And made me relate to her. And actually, when she said, you know what, I rap and I really put my heart in my rap and I rap all the time. And I freestyle and I do this and that. And that made me respect her a lot more than I would. Because before, if she had terrible interviews, I'd just be, man, this shit trash. And I had no problem calling nobody trash.
Right. Well, speaking of interviews, man, we've gone for 2 hours, bro. You're going to make this going to be me to edit. This turned out a lot better than I expected. I knew it was going to be a good interview too.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate you reaching out and giving me a chance to speak and tell my stories and stuff.
Oh, we're gonna have to do it again, man, because I know still got more. I know you got more.
Bro, I got all types of stories. I want to do a documentary because I tell you, it's some stuff I've scratched the surface on. I love to tell some deep stories that
All right. Well, maybe we might have to develop a segment. Maybe I'll get a couple artists as far as we'll review some albums, we'll review some songs together, doing something like this. And maybe we'll do a little segment or something like that. We'll figure something.
Well, just let me know. I'm always down and always willing to, do whatever.
Your hip hop encyclopedia, your knowledge in that is unmatched as far as the people I've talked to on our level of communication. Like, sure, I'm sure I could one day talk to KRS-One, and he smashes everybody when it comes to hip hop knowledge.
Oh yeah, that's KRS-One, but that's a whole nother level.
The teacher, right? But when it comes to us on our level, you know what I mean? I don't think there's anybody that has more of a deposit of information than you do when it comes to general hip hop information, history, knowledge, local and
thank you. I just, like I said, I would just advise every artist, it's like playing any sport. If you're gonna do it, study it and
study your contemporaries and who opened the doors.
Open the door, You might see some stuff that you like explore it, like study it. Like, don't think, if you just start rapping today, of course you ain't heard about DMX. You ain't heard about like I said, DMX or Biggie, they or Tupac, you'd be like, oh man, those old school. But you go further back, you can go to Ice-T, you can go to Ice Cube. Then you go further back than that, you go to like Joe Cooley and stuff. And then you go to the LA Dream Team and stuff like that. You go to Toddy T. You go further than that, you go to Egyptian Lover and stuff. Or you go further in East Coast side, you go to Run DMC. Then you can still go to Melly Mel. You can go to Carrie Master Cass and all of this. And it'll make you appreciate your music. When you got a better appreciation of your music, it'll come out in your music because you appreciate what the past people went through for the opportunity that you have to do what you do to make money. And and that's what I always said, because I don't know why, like, my kids hate the fact that I will make them watch Breaking and Beat Street. And my daughter got mad at me one time because I threw it on. She was like, oh, not this old school stuff. I was like, hey, you gonna watch this. And they watched it. And like my son, he's sitting in the car, he'll tell you, my son, he know old school music. He 10. He know who the DOC is. Yeah. He know Run DMC. He know LL Cool J. He know who they are. He knew who they are. And and it's just because I just try to put that, instill that same thing that my parents instilled in me as far as like listening to music. Like, you're gonna listen to some old school music. You can listen to what you want to listen to, but you're gonna respect this old school because it's about building your character and stuff, about respecting your elders and respecting what came before you. So So that's what I said that to the new artists. Say that, do that.
I recommend to people, and it was kind of like the epiphany for me starting these interviews. I was watching on Netflix, The Evolution of Hip Hop. So it's about four seasons, but maybe only about 16 to 18 episodes. It's not a lot of episodes, but it took me on such a nostalgic ride my entire life. I was born in 1972. So my entire life has been hip hop. Yeah, I listened to rock and roll, I listened to pop, and I heard the Madonnas and all this stuff because that's all you heard on the radio. Yeah. But when I got to pick and choose my own music, when I had that Sony Walkman, when I was standing at the bus stop, when I had my headphones on, and I get to pick and choose what I got to listen to, and I got to buy the CD or the cassette tapes. And probably before CDs were even thought of in press, it was cassette tapes. Yeah. And when I had those, and I got to carry those and pop those in, and made my decision, hip hop became my life, man.
Yeah, cassette tapes. They don't know about making your own cassette tapes.
Bro, you got the plug in the. I was talking to Reno about this, and I've interviewed Reno twice, but neither of them were up to the quality that we both wanted. So we're gonna do it again. But in having these conversations, talking about him starting out his first attempt at recording an album, and I'm obviously not going to be a spoiler. I'm going to let him tell the story, but that's what we went through to get our voices heard back then, man.
Bruh, if he knew, man, I told them, him and Charlie, because we all been in the studio talking before, and I remember telling them how we used to record, how we used to take the one radio to play the music, and other radio to record it, and you just sitting in front of them. You got one radio to record, one radio is playing your beat, and you rapping over the beat, and you press record.
Yeah,
like you know, you rapping over somebody's instrumental, or you making your own, or they don't know nothing about the pause tape of loop or something. Stop, play it again, loop it, play something again. And then
I remember my first time trying to loop Love Serenade, Barry White, Love Serenade. I tried looping that, man, and I was no good, bro. But anyways, listen, brother, I got to cut this off, man.
All righty, for sure. So, like, all right, peace to everybody out there. Look out for me. I got music coming. Shout out to the S.H.I.E.L.D. and much love to everyone.
All right, man. Respect.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
All
I'll
right.
talk to you soon.
Sir.
Case closed.
Sir. Yes.
All right, my brother.
All right, man.
The rules might change, but it's all the same. You feel that smoothness with a hint of bang. When night falls, from the cypher to the trap, we certified, no cap. Music loud with the bass on slap. When night mobbing like the Godfather, as I'm hopping out of field, giving nod in my pocket, drop a lot of dollar bills. While I knock the stock in mills, like a spot by the hills. These imposters gotta chill, popping pills is not a pill. Relax, feel the game, and you know I respect it. Plus the way I move the needle, there's no lies detected. It's to God who I prayed, as the goals got it made. Say with every sunny day comes a whole lot of shade. See a dummy hate me, 2020 HD. Watch, I never run behind it, let the money chase me. See, I'm on a higher high, the entire sky, while you liars lie. Don't be mad, little hate to dry your eye. Put me on one to watch a flyer fry. Quiet cry, party guy, get they ass lit like a firefly. Sly as I, switch it up with the hottest fire verse. By the merchant who you with, you lit that's hot as fireworks.
The city comes alive when the sun goes down. The streets talk and I love those sounds. When night falls, somebody at the bar holler one more round. The encore, I'm laying one more down. When night falls.